SFB Addict here. One of the common problems or questions that we get with the SFB cadet module on Vassal is some people are unable to get the map when they load up the module. And there's pretty much three things that would cause this. So I just opened up the module here, and as you see, it opens up to just the simple control panel. And you don't get a map until you actually start a game or you load a scenario. Now let me just open up here a battle drill. Make sure I'm in a room here instead of in the chat area. So just type in a label and hit enter, and you're no longer in the main room, you're now in an actual gaming room. And I'm just going to open up battle drill 1. And it's loading it up. Now you notice how for a second there the map wasn't there, and the chat area is really big, like this. Well, this is what a lot of people get, and they say they have no map. Well, it's because they're not familiar with Vassal. There is this dotted line right here across the bottom, and you can click and drag it. Similarly, there is a dotted line here, which you can click on and drag to change the size of a window. And same thing here. So if you don't have a map, click down here, pull it up, and see if the map is hidden. Now there is another way that you could have no map even if you have pulled this up. If this area down here is completely blank, then it might be that you were using an older version of the client. And if you've gone online and you're synchronizing with a player with a more modern version of the client, they may have used a map that you don't have in your older version of the client. And that would just open up this bottom area here as a completely blank area. So those are the three ways that you may not have a map. You're not in a game room, and you haven't started the actual game. Or B, you're in a game room and you started the actual game, but it's minimized. Or 3, you're synchronizing with the player with a more modern version of the client that's using a map that you don't have in your older version of the client. Now, one of the ways you can get by the completely minimized window thing is if once you've loaded up the client, you go into File and Preferences. You can remove this check mark here for Use Combined Application Windows, and that will open up the map as its own window, and the control panel window as its own window, and the server control panel as its own window. And this, of course, does require a restart of the client. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to restart this. Okay, and we have the server window as its own window, so let's just pop into a room. And now that we are in a room, let's actually start a game this time instead of just loading a preloaded scenario. So as you see, there is the draggable divider bar. And let's see, let's load up a black map. Okay, so we have the control window chat area as its own window. And we have the server control as its own window. And this is useful if you have a multi-monitor setup. You can take your chat area, make it as small as you want it to be, and put that at the top of a second monitor, leaving the map to occupy the entire space of your primary monitor or larger monitor. And when you open up the player SSD area windows, you can move them to the secondary monitor underneath the chat area. So when you have your SSDs in your area, let me become a Federation player so I can actually put that in the SSD area. You can adjust its size and put it under the chat area. And you can do the same thing with your opponent, so that you have the two SSDs below your chat area and the controls, and then on your other monitor you have your map. But by doing it with these multiple windows, you're guaranteed to have the map as its own window, so there's no chance of it being accidentally hidden beneath the slider. So, hope that was of some use to you. Have fun playing.